After all, the weather was ideal. They could not have had a more perfect day for a garden party if they had ordered it. Windless, warm the sky without a cloud. Only the blue was veiled with the haze of a light gold, as it is sometimes in early summer. The gardener had been up since dawn, mowing the lawns and sweeping them, until the grass and the dark, flat rosettes where the daisy plants had been seemed to shine. As for those, as for the roses, you could not help feeling they understood that roses are the only flowers that impress people at garden parties. The only flowers that everybody is certain of knowing. Hundreds, yes, literally hundreds, had come out in a single night. The green bushes bowed down as though they had been visited by archangels. Breakfast was not yet over before man came to put up the marquee. Where do you want the marquee put, mother? My dear child, it's not use asking me. I'm determined to leave everything to you children this year. Forget I'm your mother. Treat me as an honored guest. But Meg could not possibly go and supervise the man. She had washed her hair before breakfast, and she sat drinking her coffee in green turban with a dark wet curl stamped on each cheek. Jose, the butterfly, always come down in a silk petticoat and kimono jacket. You'll have to go, Laura, your artistic one. Away Laura flew, still holding a piece of bread and butter. It's so delicious to have excuse for eating out of doors. And besides, she loved to arrange things. She always felt so could do it much better than everybody else. Four men in their shirt sleeves stood grouped together on the garden path. They carried stalls covered with the rolls of canvas, and they had big tools, bags, stuck in their backs. They looked impressive. Laura wished now that she had not got the bread under butter, but there was nowhere to put it, and she couldn't possibly throw it away. She blushed and tried to look severe and even a little bit slight as it came up to them. She came up to them. Good morning, she said, copying her mother's voice, but that sounded so fearfully affected that she was ashamed and stammered like a little girl. Where have you come? Is it about the marquee? That's right, miss, said the tallest of the men, a lanky, fragged fellow, and he shifted his tool bag, knocked back his straw hat, and smiled down at her. That's about it. His smile was so easy, so friendly that Laura recovered. What nice eyes he had, small but such a dark blue. And now she looked at the others. They were smiling too. Cheer up, we won't bite. Their smile seemed to say, oh, very nice work, my bird. And what a beautiful morning. She mustn't mention the morning, she must be businesslike, the marquis. Well, what about the lily lawn? Would that do? And she pointed the lily lawn with a hand that didn't hold the bread and butter. They stared in the direction. And little fat clusters of yellow fruit. They were like trees you imagine growing on desert island, proudly solitary, lifting their leaves and fruits to the sun in the kind of silent splendor. Must they be hidden by a marquee? They must. Already men had shouldered their stalls and were making for the place. Only the tall fellow was left. He bent down, pinching a sprig of lavender, put his thumb and forefinger on his nose, snuffed on the smell. With Laura saw that gesture, she forgot all about the carcass in her wonder at him caring for things like that. Caring for the small smell of lavender. How many men that she knew would have done such a thing? Oh, how extraordinarily nice workmen here, she thought. Why couldn't she have workmen for friends rather than sleep boys she danced with and who came to Sunday night supper? She would get on much better with men like these. It's all the fault, she decided. As the tall fellow drew something on the back of envelope, something that was to be looped up or left hang, these absurd class distinctions. Well, for her part, she didn't feel them. Not a bit, not an atom. That was The Garden Party by Katherine Mansfield. By the way, go to plantown.com and get your amazing clothes.